All right, I was not going to do a video on Draymond Green, Jordan Poole incident that was reported earlier in the week, and then of course the video came out, and then I thought about it, and instead of kind of putting your thoughts on Twitter, where basically it takes your message that you put out there is distorted 900 different ways, and there's a perception as far as what you were thinking about. I said, you know what, let's do a video. And I talked to our great people over on our YouTube channel. I said, let's do a little bit of a video, 6 or 7 minute video. And I think big picture here and how I'm looking at the Green Poole situation. I think there's a lot of different layers. First, I do not condone workplace violence. I don't care if it's male on male, certainly male on female, female on male. I don't condone you putting your hands on somebody else. Like, that is a no-no for me. And if people who know me can vouch for that. So that's a no-no. And that's something that Draymond is going to have to deal with outside of Golden State as far as why he got to that point and why he got so angry here. So couple things here. So the fight gets reported. Bob Myers does a press conference yesterday. Steve Kerr does a press conference. Steph Curry does a press conference. The Warriors say that we're going to deal with it internally, which means likely a fine. Every team gives their players a team handbook when training camp starts. In there, it has the rules and kind of discipline. People who have followed me, you can be fined up to $50,000, or Golden State could suspend him. Player can grieve that as far as the amount that Green would lose here. So, as I said yesterday, the likelihood is that they're going to fine him, and that was the end of the story here, right? Bob in his press conference came out and said the likelihood is that Draymond was not going to miss any games. Okay, so we thought was the end of the Draymond Green situation. I had a problem with certainly what happened in practice, and I had a problem with the ability to leak the information out. I get it. We live in a social media world, and if it's ESPN or The Athletic, it drives news. But from a front office perspective, it would bother me, and I understand that component where maybe you said something to your agent, maybe your agent said something to it's like the telephone game, right? By the time you get to the 15th person, that message has already been out there and somebody gets their hands on it. And certainly in this day and age where we have a lot of media coverage on everything, I get that part of it. So that disappointed me, but I understand it here. So the video comes out, TMZ releases it, and it's bad. I don't believe it's to the egregious point of and we've never seen the video of the Bobby Portis, Nikola Mirotic fight that, I like that Bobby Portis tweeted at me earlier, that he was defending himself, and it's been reported that he was, but he basically broke Nikola Mirotic's face and he missed 23 games, and Portis was suspended, 8 games here. And I was tweeting, Colin Cowherd tweeted something, who I respect a ton. I enjoy, everything that he does with his podcast and his radio, but he had tweeted that, and this is how the thinking of doing a video started. Maybe the league now steps in because we saw the video of basically them jawing during practice, Green getting in Poole's face, Poole pushing Green, and then Green basically, pulled a Mike Tyson on him and cold cocked him. Poole was not injured. He went on to practice. Golden State did not have practice on Friday. We have not heard from anybody there. So as far as we know, there was no injuries here. So I don't condone that, right? I don't condone that at all. So I want to get that out here. But from a league perspective, in cases like this where it is not game action, right? It's not a regular season game. The league tends to allow teams to police themselves. And in the operations manual, it does say that the league can fine or suspend. Basically, it's kind of like a workplace violence where it's under the activities. Like, so if you're at an event, which basically is considered practice, the league can step in and has the jurisdiction to do that. But having been in the league for a long time, having worked for a team, for situations that are not involving on the court in a regular season or playoff or preseason game, the league allows teams to police their players themselves. The big question will be is a fine good enough, right? So the video comes out, Adam Silver's looking at it and says, is $50,000 and a Draymond Green apology, is that good enough? And that's something that the league will have to determine. I think it's a slippery slope that you can go in where you start policing teams' practices if there's an altercation in Dallas. Who's to say that now the league steps in if Dallas, they don't feel like the fine is sustainable? So that's kind of where I see it that, from my personal opinion, the likelihood is that the fine stays. And if the league says, you know what, we want more, then if you're Golden State, then all right, fine. We'll suspend them for the rest of the preseason, right? We'll suspend them for the rest of the preseason games. I don't have their schedule up here. And we'll take, the fine, which was going to be $50,000. Now it's going to be, 145th of Green's salary. So basically, let's pull that up here. So it's basically $176,000. So he would lose $350,000. So do I think he would miss games during the regular season? No. So I think if the league pushes Golden State on this based on what the video is, just suspend him for the rest of the preseason. If there's 2 games left, go about it that way. I do think that when we say that, Ramona tweeted, and then Woj was on NBA Today, and he said that, that Golden State is going to launch an internal investigation to figure out how the video was leaked, right? That's what bothers me second or third, besides the punch and the violence on the court. The violence, the Draymond incident bothers me, of course. But the second thing is the leak of a video that was in the control of the Warriors. There was only probably 35 people in that gym. You can tell when you're watching it that it's basically controlled. It's probably a camera that's in controlled, that they film practices on. How did that come about? And what is the purpose of it, right? What is the purpose of leaking a video here? Do you want to get Draymond suspended? Do you want to try to get him kicked out of the league? You trying to who within that organization would do that? And they'll figure it out themselves, and I'm so sure there'll be consequences. But I do think for people to think that, well, wait a minute, Jordan Poole just got punched, and all you guys care about is that there's going to be an internal investigation of somebody who leaked the video. No. There's, as I said, there's layers to this here. The Green situation, whether if a fine warrants more as far as a suspension here, that's what Golden State has to do. Bob Myers has been in this league a long time. Steve Kerr's been in this league a long time here. I think there's the other component, certainly, where, as I said, in the front office and Steve Kerr and Steph Curry have disputed, saying, is finances going to, disrupt, or break up this championship? We all know that these guys are contract extension eligible. We know that Jordan Poole has up until October 17th to sign a new deal. We know that Draymond's got a player option. We know that Andrew Wiggins can receive a new contract. We know that Klay Thompson is extension eligible. Jordan Poole is going to get paid. Tyler Hero got 4 years, $130 million. $10 million is unlikely bonuses. It's $120 million because those bonuses are unlikely going to be. I've got an extension article that's coming out next week. I'll dive deep into more. Jordan Poole's going to get paid $110 million, $112 million. If Anthony Simon's got 4 years, $100 million, which in this day and age is 4 years, $108 million, Jordan Poole is going to get paid. So from a managing expectations and managing your locker room, now enters Steve Kerr. Now enters Bob Myers when Draymond Green sees that contract. What is the locker room dynamic going to be? And that's something they are going to have to figure out, and that's something that they are going to have to monitor during the season here, because this Golden State team is talented enough to win a championship. But as I said, the only thing that's going to disrupt it or break it apart essentially could be finances here. So the big picture, the Green situation shouldn't happen. It happens. It happened in New Jersey. Richard was on NBA today and said it. In 2004 there was a lot going on with that group. There was a fight. Punches were thrown. Unfortunately, there was no video to it here. And in the Green situation, the video came out here. So I think we'll wait. We'll see what happens if there is more discipline. I don't believe there should be. That's not my decision here. I think the fine justifies it if Golden State wants to go ahead and suspend him here. But if any discipline is going to come from the team, it is not going to come from the NBA.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.